This just in, a number of school districts have been reporting more problems with T&Ready testing this morning, and we just got this word from the state. The main fiber cable between Nashville and Atlanta has been cut. Now, we're not sure how or why this happened, but the State Department of Education says right now internet traffic is being routed to backup channels, and it's caused some connectivity issues, particularly in the South, and that it is behind the test problems. So you heard it here first. More at 4. Disturbing new video this morning of the suspected Waffle House shooter, all caught on tape during his interaction with police. News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy is at Waffle House with this developing part of the story.
This body cam footage does not come from this Waffle House incident. It actually comes from 2 months ago in another interaction Travis Rankin had with police. It happened in Alcoa, Tennessee. Rankin was staying there at a motel while working on a construction project when he had the police called on him. And then this interaction.
Okay. And they'll be talking loud at night, they'll knock on the windows and then walk off, and I don't know who it is.
Rankin tells the officer someone kept knocking on his window and yelling, but it was a woman who called police on him for allegedly violently threatening her. She says she was just trying to put the kids to bed when she heard him yelling. She told Rankin to be quiet, but then he charged into her motel room, balled up his fist, and when she screamed, he laughed at her. Rankin admits that he yelled, but says he never charged at her. He checked out of the motel that night, and she opted not to press charges. Now, fast forward 2 months, here we are now, just days after police say Rankin barged into this Waffle House, shot and killed 4 people, injured several others. Rankin is now undergoing a mental evaluation. And at this Waffle House, which reopened at 9 o'clock yesterday morning, we've been told by store managers that 100% of the sales for the next month will go towards the victims' families. In Antioch, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Dan. More than a dozen people are still recovering from various injuries suffered at the Waffle House shooting, not just physical wounds, but emotional trauma as well. We spoke to Kayla Shaw, who was trying to pay for her meal, then moments later was scrambling to stay alive.
I had money in my hand. I was prepared to pay for my food. I unclenched my money. Like, I played dead. My whole body was motionless. That was the only thing I could think of that could possibly save my life.
Kayla was at the counter when a bullet crashed through one of the front windows, sending glass flying into her face. She dropped to the ground and heard at least 3 more rounds, then saw the gunman standing over her. Kayla tells us she played dead until the shooting stopped. Investigators say it was DNA evidence that led them to one of the country's most notorious criminals. A former police officer is suspected in at least a dozen killings and scores of sexual assaults in California. As John Blackstone shows us, he terrorized the whole area for decades.
And all of a sudden, in a 6-day period of time, we've solved the case of the century.
Sacramento District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert made the stunning announcement on Wednesday.
We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
Police say Joseph James DeAngelo is the Golden State Killer who terrorized Californians during a harrowing crime spree that began over 40 years ago.
We started some surveillance. We were able to get some discarded DNA, and we were able to confirm what we thought we already knew, that we had our man.
DeAngelo is an ex-police officer who became a suspect in the last week, identified using what authorities would only describe as a sophisticated new kind of DNA technology. The 72-year-old DeAngelo has been charged with 8 murders in Sacramento, Orange, and Ventura counties, but is suspected in several other killings and dozens of rapes. Many of the crimes were committed just miles from his home in Citrus Heights, where he was arrested on Tuesday. The Golden State Killer hunted and haunted his victims from 1974 to 1986, raping women while their husbands or boyfriends were tied up nearby. He even took souvenirs of his crimes and made frightening phone calls to survivors.
For the 51 ladies who were brutally raped in this crime scene, sleep better tonight. He isn't coming through the window.
Linda Odell is one of those women raped by the Golden State Killer in 1977. Deputy Carol Daly took her to the hospital.
We just didn't give up. No, and we're just so pleased that this is over.
DeAngelo retired last year after working for 27 years in a local supermarket warehouse. His arraignment is scheduled for Friday. John Blackstone, CBS News, Citrus Heights, California.